ExactChaos and welcome back to Chaos County. So in the last episode, we built all of this road network, and I must say I'm really impressed. There's been a few changes that I made just to kind of smooth things out a little. I'm really so impressed with the intersection marking tool, man. Look at this stuff. It looks like real planned and designed roads over here. And you can obviously run it with time traffic lights to make it actually function this way. It's really awesome. Man, I'm so impressed by it. I can't say it enough. I just can't say it enough. Okay, in this episode, what we're gonna do is we are gonna jump into actually zoning this thing, and let's talk a little bit about how that'll work. So the intention here is that this area is the port, slightly industrial, not heavy industrial, but slightly industrial, warehousing, that kind of thing. We could even, garbage collection and disposal and all these kind of recycling facilities. All of that kind of will feature in this area. From there, it needs to kind of buffer into something like a commercial area, and we could even have something nice alongside the water's edge over here. It won't obviously be great amenity considering the port is over here, and we might add more to the port and things like that as we grow. But in general, it's going to be a commercial buffer that then leads into something more substantial, a CBD type location with offices and things like that, IT clusters and that kind of thing is what we'll do in here with amenities. Of course, we need all kinds of amenities, and then to maybe to the edge, we'll have our high density residential, and potentially our high density residential will border on the commercial district that will be over here, while this area will be like the real CBD, the office workers, all of those kind of thing. And then it'll transition back into residential as we get closer to probably this area here, more high density residential into lower density residential on the other side, and then maybe a little bit of a green buffer to the highway there, maybe some trees and things like that. Maybe we sink it. Actually, that's one of the options. We sink part of it, and we'll see. But if we sink it, it shouldn't be sunk, because if we sink it, it'll naturally want to connect to this town over here, and potentially we don't want to do it. So we'll have to low densify it a little bit as we get out of here as a buffer to that area. Then we'll see what we end up doing in this area. Maybe this is where we have some more parklands. Maybe, and then we'll grow the city over this way. And I think we're going to have awesome opportunities for some ferry connections, potentially even a ferry connection that stops at the point there. It stops somewhere over here, over there, well, even over there. So ferry connection maybe from that side to this side to here to there to this side and into the end over here, something like that. Maybe the port doesn't necessarily need ferry connection beyond somewhere over there. We'll see how it goes. But really, I'm excited to get to really laying out proper areas. So in doing that, let's quickly have a look. Some of these kind of squares that we have here needs to be parkland, open square, that kind of thing. And I'm very tempted to do some of this over here, but I'm also tempted to make sure that we actually make provision for our monorail, and I'm very tempted to run the monorail up this boulevard over here. So I've got to put a placeholder boulevard in there, but I think monorail boulevard is something that would be quite cool. Otherwise tram, but we don't have tram over here, so I'm thinking monorail boulevard is exactly the kind of thing that would be cool for us to do. So if we do something like that, these monorail tracks can come in and go straight into both of these directions, and it will work fairly well, I believe. So that's kind of the idea. So we'll have this run central city monorail connection. The road looks slightly different with the monorail on it, but that's just fine. Now, amenities is one of the first things that we're going to need to do. So let's make sure that we bring in the correct kind of amenities. One of the things that we're going to need a substantial hospital complex. Okay, something like that is what I have in mind. So let's place that down. Okay, hospital connection. Let's switch this off so we don't spend weekly money on that. I think that looks pretty good. So that's like almost like a government amenity stretch that we're going to have over here. what I'm going to be very careful of is to zone directly on this road. These roads need to be kept clear, and some of you already mentioned that it's going to be problematic with this one on here. But I think if we limit it to the single or a handful of amenities on the main road, it's not going to be that. But what we will have is have these roads on, or have them on the other side. Okay, so one of them is the hospital. I think something that makes sense as part of the hospital is maybe something like elder care, child health center, something like that. Maybe if we do child health center right next to it, even on this side. Let's see, what else do we have over here? Sauna, medical helicopter depot. I think in town is not the place for that. Sports hall and gym. I don't think that's the place for this. I think really the only other thing that makes sense here is maybe like the child healthcare services, but it doesn't really fit the vibe that we're going for over here. So really no other proper healthcare buildings are going to go in there. What we could, however, do is we can go and grab ourselves the large fire station, which could actually make proper sense right over there. And then we can at the same time also do the police station, the large police station. And I'm really keen to do a proper prison somewhere. The large police station like so. There we go. So if we plan it out like that, this means we should be able to really make use of this area. Have a little walkways and stuff around there. Let's quickly switch these off. I don't necessarily want them to start functioning straight away. I like that idea. That's like close to our public transport hub over there. This facility here, I believe I would like to see a little bit of a square going on over here. What I'll do here, I'll maybe do, you know what? I'm really keen on running some form of smaller road, kind of just in the middle down here. So if we say small road in here, right, we grab the middle, which is that, and let's run it like that. I'm not sure that's the right one. We could even tie it in here. We could even tie it in. I'm not sure that's the right thing to do though. It'll slow things down quite a lot over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim that back. We'll have to get rid of those crosswalks over there a little bit. And with the center divider in there, I like that, so that we don't have, so that people can easily cross it, all these kind of things. In reality, that kind of setup. So in order for us to make this look nice, we probably need to have a little bit of just a smaller road section that we tie in there. We tie in there. Ooh. Something like that, as like a bit of a hammerhead turnaround right at the corner over there. So these guys come in, they can turn around and do their thing. Or alternatively, something that would make a lot of sense is if we actually just throw in there our parking stuff. A little bit of a parking area in here actually makes even more sense. That road is actually the better one for us to use as a turnaround. Okay, so with that in mind, what kind of parking stuff can we in fact grow in here? Actually, you know what? Let's try that again. Let's grab just a standard section of parking. We'll try and put it in there. If we go slightly the larger one, how does that look and feel? I'm not against that. I think that really actually works. That actually works over here. So this little area will have like its own parking. People can walk through into that area. We'll have some stuff zoned in here. So what I want to do is I definitely want to place a lot of this in here. And this is now where I wanted to make sure that we do our zoning right. So let's go back in here and let's switch off our zoning from this guy. I just want to make sure that we are in fact switching our zoning off through here. Yeah, that's good. Like so, right? Switching off our zoning. And I'm also quite tempted to to switch it off in this section per se, just because it's a little awkward. Anyway, maybe that's not necessarily the right thing to do. Let's switch it off over there. Yeah, I'll get rid of that again. We'll just get that sorted out. That looks better. That looks better. If it's a little awkward over there, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm quite happy with that setup like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure we do that for the extent. I don't want us to be zoning stuff on here. If we need to put something in there, I'll put some zoning back in there. I think that is exactly right. Like that, and like that. There we go. So now we don't have the zoning directly on it, and we'll have to do little extra roads here to get the zoning to sort itself out. So from here on out, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to leave a little slither of area left right next to the main road. And so what we'll do is we will kind of squeeze that in over here. One of the things I also want to do is I want us to make sure that we can provide proper walkway through here. So let's actually provide a center walkway area right over there. We'll go ahead and tie in all of this stuff. I'm not sure if that's actually going to work. So we'll do a little bit of this. We'll make sure we get way more stuff in here, over there. That's going to actually make sense. We'll do that. Yeah, this one isn't quite straight. I'm going to trim that back just a little bit. We'll bring that one in here. A little bit more over there and over there. We will trim that out so that we make sure that to allow for a little bit of a walkway through there. And that'll just run over here. Potentially for this road, we'll have to stop our crossings and maybe put bridges in there or underpasses or something like that. But we will get to that. Okay, one of the things is that now we're starting to fill this area in and we don't have any of the appropriate stuff that we need. Oh, so I did receive a comment to have a look at a video that does this stuff properly. I haven't yet looked at that, so apologies for that. I will get back to that at some point. How much spare capacity do we have here? We should have a fair bit of spare capacity on the power network. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, there's plenty. So I'm thinking we build another one of these things. So I can use my picker, I believe, and I'll select that. Yeah, good stuff. So from the picker, I can turn it out a little bit like this. And so I'm thinking we do. No, I did the wrong button there. I'm thinking we do. Okay, let's turn it out. Get about the right angle right there. I think that's about right. So let's do a few of them. So it kind of makes it feel like a slightly larger power source in the area. So let's start with something like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this guy back, and we'll bring it into maybe the middle one over here, and then we'll run power from there alongside this road, maybe then into here somewhere, and we'll put our substations over here in that spot there. I think that's going to be about right. Okay, let's in fact do that. So let's trim these guys back. I think if we trim it back to there, yeah, maybe over there. Okay, now let's grab the picker. Picker is actually quite a cool, interesting tool. Okay, can I not? Huh? I'm a little perplexed by what's going on here. I thought power lines, I can just grab it. It's not that one. Hang on, then let me just do the normal thing and go to power and find it. Here it is. Right, so what I did was I basically, we don't turn it. I've remembered yet again. We do that kind of thing. I want to run it up to say there, and then we'll tie that in. There we go. Now that's the one. Now we'll get another one, and they generally tend to run out like that kind of thing. Now let's run it at the back here. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm actually running it to the back of our zoning area, right? So that we're not necessarily losing any zonability on this main road, or not for the most part. We're not losing zonability on it. Okay, so we'll run that in to something like that. So there we go. So we could actually go ahead and zone stuff on there. You would generally see those kind of approaches for this thing, for kind of high voltage lines in the real life also. Okay, so I'm gonna run it into about here, I think. I don't think we're gonna cross into that area because it'll kind of blight the neighborhood there. So how did I deal with it on the other side? I did exactly that same thing. So presumably, and now I'm lost. Presumably, we will have a little bit of room to do it over here. Alternatively, we'll cut it across and we'll bring it in right over there. That could also work. So let's grab our picker, and I believe this works for the picker, right? There we go, picker. We'll turn this around as the end of our piece here, right there. There we go, proper power being brought in over here. Now let's bring in the cabling. Honestly, we can't cross it. Can we, if we bring it up a little, like that, we should certainly be able to. Oh, there we go. So something like this, right? That is well clear. Well clear. Slightly higher. Oh, we never dropped it. We didn't drop it back down, huh? Let's trim it back down. I'm very keen on actually trimming it. Come on. So something like that, right? We'll bring it back in and we'll trim it. We'll just go. Oh, not that one. This one. We'll just go ahead and we will drop it back down to about there. There we go. Well, that's very tight over here, but I like it. It's a proper squeeze in of infrastructure as we get into town. Now, the other thing that we also need to do here is water. And water, I believe, was a slightly bigger issue for us, right? Wasn't it? Water availability is actually not too bad. So what we can do, since we have water here already, we can just basically go and provide water alongside our main roads. Like so. Actually, we'll just run it straight through there. That looks really quite useful in that area. We'll go back and run it on the other side too. Oh man, that's awesome. We'll run it through there and then we'll probably just tie that in right over there. So now we actually have water connections and a little bit more to do to get power connections in here, but we're about there. We're thereabouts. If we go and do maybe something like this, if we go and do maybe something like that, then we're all connected up over here with power and things. Did we? I think, yeah, we managed to disrupt that thing a little bit. So maybe that's not the spot for it. Let's trim that back. We'll destroy it and we will place it again, but maybe somewhere over here where it's slightly more out of the way. Yeah, but good stuff. Good stuff. And I think now our zoning is not, well, our zoning is messed up, but there we go. We can fix our zoning. Now, I'll unpause it so things can start running in. So, from a pathway perspective, we definitely want to make sure that we've got proper pathways running throughout the city. So we've got these little trade school paths that I like quite a lot. There's also like the liberal art schools and all kinds of things like that. There's also zoo paths. But I do like those with some proper kind of decorations on it. So let's unsnap. We'll go into this area. We'll switch on anarchy so we can squeeze it in. Oh man, that is beautiful. That is beautiful, and we will definitely make sure to get the rest going there. So there's our first spot there. So what I want to do is I want to provide us with, I believe, a crosswalk right over here. Ooh, this node controller thing is absolutely awesome. It's not going to be a signal. It's just going to be a crossing because this is not a busy road, so there's definitely going to be proper. Look at that. We are really making do with the things here. Now we will start to move our little path in here. So let's grab the path here. What I want to try and do here is actually just tie it in nice and tight with the road over there. If we do something like this, we do something like that. Look at that. Look at that from a pathing point of view. I'm going to do exactly the same thing over here. Presumably, ooh, that's a little bit not what I wanted to do on this side. So let's trim that back. We'll do that one more time. What were we doing? University paths. So I want it to be a little closer to the road. Yeah, that's fine. If we overlap the road a little bit, that's just perfect, actually. There we go, and in there. Now, how about that for a nice area? So what we're saying is, basically, it's becoming slightly greenish park areas on the edges here. And that's basically what's happening. I want to do exactly the same on the other side. So let's continue this shape so that we provide nice wide kind of pedestrian paths for our people. But what I need to do is I need to probably put in some more roads in here for us to be able to zone better. Why is this thing not zoning? Now that is bizarre. How bizarre. Now, okay, let's try and, ooh, it's because I've got this switched on. So everything that because I've connected onto this, it's kind of upgraded it. So let's make sure to go back and just fix that. I want to make sure we fix that, please. So if I do this, oh, and I've lost that path there. Anyway, does not matter. I've got it in there. We should be able to sort it back out. I believe we should be able to sort it back out. Let's do that. I need to be a little bit more careful about how I in fact do that. So let's run it pretty tight there. I believe that's going to be just fine. There we go. And now I can just rezone those sections that we've lost here. Something like this, something like that. Actually, I've lost probably the zoning on that entire thing. So did I pause the game? No, it's not paused. So anyway, everything should now come on, tie back in. Interesting what's happened over there, but it's okay. It's okay. It's downtown, getting into downtown, close to this. Now over here, I'm very tempted to use these blocks as like our park areas, and then we run the park out into this general direction. So what I want to do is I want to run a park that meanders through here, that's not in the shape of the grid, so that we can really do something better with that. So if we go to parks, what parks do we have? We've got amusement parks, city parks, nature reserves, zoos. Yeah, so really it has to be a city park. It has to be a city park. Where will we place its access point? I'm not too sure where it's going to go, but we will need an access point somewhere. And I'm kind of wondering whether we not make the access point all the way on the other side here. We make the proper access point over here somewhere. We'll just have some side gates that kind of runs through the entire thing here. But presumably what we can do is we can place it up in here, and then we'll run it across. So let's do that. I wanted to run all the way to this road over here. In that case, maybe what we'll do is we'll put our park main entrance all the way over here, and we'll start running it through Chestnut Gardens. If you want us to rename this park after you, please do say so in the comments down below or in the Discord. Either of those spots, I will have a look at it, and we can rename it after you. If you've got a great idea and a great story for this park, or an idea for a name that's a little bit more interesting, that would be quite awesome. So what I'm trying to do here is now I will have it meander through like that, right? And we'll make it a little wider through there, and then up to there, that kind of thing. So this is the idea that I have with the park, and I'll take it all the way over there. We'll do something like this, okay? That's going to be our park. It's going to run through here, and I'll show you what the intention and the plan with that is as we go. It does, however, mean that we might not necessarily have all the gates that we would like to have. Okay, potentially that's the situation. And hang on, are we bringing that all the way to here? We are, in fact. So I'll bring it a little bit closer, right in there, so that we can actually squeeze a little gate in here and have this start meandering through there. And it's going to be not much of a park as we start over here, but it'll go all the way through. So there we go. There's a little park access point right in there, in between the buildings. This will be a part of the park. That'll be a part of the park, and then the park will run through into that direction. I do like that idea a lot actually. So let's grab just the standard kind of park road. I'm gonna put it something like this actually. We'll tie it in there. There we go. I like it. It gives us a little bit more room and flexibility. This area is okay. We're going to be able to cross it over there. We might do a proper bridge crossing somewhere over here as well as over there, and then we'll see how we deal with the rest of that. But I think I like the idea. Yeah, I think maybe a bridge crossing over here will be quite good for us. So let's see if we do. In which case, it needs to go something like that. I think that's exactly right. And we will. You'll need to drop it out somewhere where it's going to make a fair bit more sense. If we do something like this, we'll lose even more stuff there. But anyway, that's going to be okay. Now, it'll be like a meandering park route through here, because ultimately, yeah, I'm going to drop it down because it needs to be dropped down every now and again to allow for people to get back onto it. So what I'm going to do here is let's go back up 9. Now it needs to be straight. We'll cut it across kind of right over there. That's awesome. And I'm not sure we're going to need to cross over here again, but what we'll do is we'll cross it over here with a slightly different angles, so that it makes a lot of sense for us. And then we'll now drop all of these down into certain areas here. I'm not sure we're going to zone all of this, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter that we're cutting some of our zoning areas off a little bit. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a zigzaggy kind of thing. I'm rather going to do the meandering thing ultimately. Let's bring in that path over here, meandering thing, right? The meandering thing. So something like that, right? And what I'll do is, this feels like it should be more straight, but if I do that, right? Let's see what we can and cannot do here. So if we do a little something like this instead, right? Like that, just the meandering section. Similarly, we need something like that over here again also. And we've got the zigzags and the meanders all at the kind of same time here. So we need to be careful that we, yeah, I like it. I like it. It almost makes sense. Like, so that's our city park that's going to run through here. And what we'll do is we'll have like these corners part of the city park because it makes a lot of sense. We'll fill this one in as the whole park. We'll fill that one in as the whole park. But of course, as part of this, we also need our side gates in a few locations. So we'll grab ourselves a side gate over there, a side gate over here, a side gate over there, and a side gate over here, something like that. All of that all along the way. We can also do a side gate on the other side there. We can also do a side gate over here to try and get people onto that in a few different locations. Makes a ton of sense to me, at least. Yeah, all of that makes sense. We could do a side gate over here, but it is getting a little busy right in that spot. So let's maybe not do that. Let's tie these things together, and then that's gonna be gonna be it, guys. Gonna be it. Let's so for this one, what I'd like to do is maybe do straight sections through there. It does look good. I am liking it. So can I potentially get this to not go into that area? Just let's move it. We'll grab this thing, we'll bring it in a little closer like so. That's just making a ton of sense to me to do that. Now let's tie it in here and in there. Wow, that I'm loving it already. What we'll do is we'll bring it out just a little bit so we can in fact zone in that specific area. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of start meandering it out. Like so, something like that. We'll do something very similar over here. Yeah, just something like that. So this is like park areas with access points, and everybody can have their lunch and dinner and who knows what else. So that's kind of the start of the park. Okay, now what we also need to do is we need to make sure that we provide sufficient other room now for office buildings and things. So let's grab another kind of road, and I'm tempted to continue using these kind of median divided roads that I've got going on here. Where's the center of this? Can I? Oh, I'm not using snapping. Let's get snapping back on. Then we should find the center quite easily. Yeah, center over there. Nice. That's good. That's fine. We're not going to tie in over here, but we could, in fact, then run it back on that side and see about running it into that general direction. And of course, we're going to run it off into this area. So that just makes more sense to me yet again. So we've got like the roads for cars, and then we've got the roads for people. Not that it's only people, but it just makes it's lower intensity roads and things like that. So it just makes a lot more sense that way. So that's the idea. So we can now we can now fill that in completely. So that's office. I'm going to maybe strip this section so you can't actually zone on that also. And we can see about filling in the rest of it. But if you have that, unfortunately, what it does is it makes a bit of a park area. But I don't mind it too much. I don't mind it too much. It feels right. Can we say? It does feel right to do that. Okay, so that kind of situation there. I'm tempted for us to run it similarly over here, right? So then on this one, we will have a little bit of zoning going on. Yeah, so something like that. We'll have a little bit of zoning going on. That's obviously not going to have zoning, so we can have a little path going through there. We can have that happening. But of course, we will need to trim that out because that won't actually be zoned. Similar, so it'll be exactly similar to that. So we'll see. Maybe I will in fact zone that at some point. I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of our office area now. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and zone the rest of this also. We'll do that, and all I'll do is I'll trim. Ooh, actually, that's too much. I don't want to trim that out. 4 in, and there we go. Something like that. There we go. That's it. So I didn't necessarily need to unzone it, but there we go. And we can have just standard offices running up and down here. And then from there, we can maybe find ourselves a bit of an IT cluster somewhere around this corner or in this area over here as we step down into a more conventional residential kind of area. So I think this is going to be almost the edge of our commercial. And commercial is going to then wrap around back into that direction. And one of the things that I'm just thinking, we could probably run some bridges that cross over here. Potentially bridge up over there, cross to that side, something like that. We also need to find ourselves a bit of a working road network for this specific area. And I'm thinking something that works fairly well over here, or that looks to be working fairly well over there, is that angle. So if I go and do that, and I bring it up nice and close right here next to it, next to this facility here. So that's my intent there. If we do a little bit of this, how can we make this work? So if we do that and we do that, does that? Oh man, that does function properly. But I'm not interested in connecting this one back up. I could connect this one back up, but I want the main sources of traffic to flow over there. So maybe that's not going to be the case. And instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to run it up here, run it in there, and run it back like that. Is that actually works? Looks a little funky and weird over here, but that actually works, and also means that we can grid this out or run something completely separate. Something completely separate over there. But now we have accessibility in that area without necessarily having cars run through this from the main roads. But we could potentially tie in over here, but we'll need the room for these guys to drop down underground and all those kind of things. Look at that. I like that as a starting point for us. It's got a natural growth into this area. We've kind of closed off this section to make room for that. We might need other like pedestrian bridges and things in this area. But yeah, it's making it's progress, guys. It is progress. It's slow progress, but I'm liking it. So please tell me what you think of our design for our CBD. This might be a little over the top. I'll see how it goes. Actually, to be honest, it's going to be a nice fat park area on this side into a narrow little park that runs through the city. That's my view. So it's going to be nice and big on this side, narrower all the way. But we'll have it cross the main lines. Actually, then if that's the case, then we don't want that section there zoned. So let's just trim back the zoning over there, and maybe trim back the zoning over there. So we'll have a little bit of a kind of meandering route through here, and we need to be mindful and careful of that as we run on this side. Actually, what we can do is we can just start our zoning maybe somewhere over here. Anyway, that's going to be fine. Guys, I'm going to put a cut in this episode. It is obviously still a long way away for us to get this thing to actually work. What I will do quickly is I'll detail our park a little bit so that it takes a little bit more shape. And then in the future, we can just continue to go and add more roads and zone and things like that for our CBD. Obviously, we would like real high density on specifically this strip over here. I want real proper dense office towers on this strip, and maybe even into this area around here. These will become nice, big and dense as well. Got some parking over there. Probably need some more parking spots, maybe even the double-decker kind of stuff, the multi-story car parks and things like that. So we'll continue to look into some of that stuff. And I know we need power and water and things over here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you have some ideas and thoughts and things like that, leave them down below in the comments or join us on the Discord. The link is in the description down below, where you can obviously give us all detailed feedback you would like to do. See you next time. Bye-bye.